Alrighty, guys, it is time to wrap it up for today. This December 31st, New Year's Eve, 2025. Amazing. And of course, we are getting a sell-off into the close. I haven't paid attention to the market, but I mean, it's been selling off pretty good here. So definitely tradable if you wanted to do something. But I mean, this slop going into the afternoon, I've right here at 2 o'clock, it started. As usual, 2 o'clock, at lunchtime here, you get the afternoon selling. So no strength to lean against at all. So they took out support and key support. They're down here at the bit on the 6,900. So yeah, we're going to start off the new year on a down note. It's what it looks like. So I'm going to start off range bound biases to the downside. I only took one trade today on the Nasdaq early on, and it was kind of choppy, so I kind of gave it up, and I haven't really engaged it a whole lot since then, and nothing to really lean against. And it's one of those days, you want to blow up your account on New Year's Eve, right? Trade it with a little bit of caution. However, this last little rundown here definitely tradable. It's been, but it's after that rundown here, they stalled. They started well, they ran down here on the ES. They stalled, started ahead. They started just going sideways. Didn't look like much, and I didn't really thought it was like a little sell off, like a little test of the low. So they run into the support area at 69.10, and then of course that was right there at the this little run down here. So after 2 o'clock hour, they ran into 69.10. I figured, okay, is he going to hold or are they going to try to lean into it? But a lot of activity late in the session on a New Year's Eve, so I had to say it's more than I thought it would be. I thought it was going to die off pretty much here, but this sell-off here was kind of took me a little bit by surprise. So that just tells you, market is the market. It's going to do what it want to do, and you never know when things is going to be a little bit of activity. I at this point I was not engaged at all, so I didn't take any trades on this one, but definitely tradable on the way down here, especially this continuation thing after they took out the 69.10s here. This little move here, the stalled, and then the big move. Now, this one here would, unless you were already short, you kind of had to wait for this one to retrace before you can get short, and then you had a little bit going for you. But if you did, right now you're retracing pretty good. So it's not been a crazy amount, 69.10 down to 60, about 10 points to the downside. So not a crazy move to the downside, but definitely a weakness. So and as you can tell, we're starting off the or wrapping up the year with a little bit of a down note. We're down here to that volume edge, and watch that level, the 68.90 here. That comes out, the bets are off. So right now, it looks to me like this could be the beginning of a move out of the middle to the downside. But the fact that we are on New Year's Eve and that it looks like this could just be year-end selling, wrapping up the last tax year losses and hoping for the best, but giving up and selling off taking your losses could be what we're looking at. But the fact that if they hold the 68.90s, I would be optimistic that we can make a little bit of a comeback in the new year. If not, I'm really just going to start off with a down note. Either way, we're starting off the overnight into Friday's trading on the down note, looking to sell strength. Unless they trade up above this area, the 69.10 to 15, this ledge right there they took out. If they can close above it, we'll start off range bound with a slight bias to the downside. If they're holding below it, we'll just start off with a flat out short bias and see how far they're going to take it at the open on Friday. Tomorrow, the whole trading day is closed, so we reopen, pre-open again at 5 or 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. So tomorrow is closed. And they're going to be opening the room. It'll be a regular Friday, and see how that day develops. And that's going to be interesting to see how that whole thing develops. So haven't been very aggressive at all in my trading today. I've been working on some stuff. And just so you know, I'm working on a Coinbase integration, trading futures on Coinbase, and we completely separate from in the CME. So basically, Bitcoin and Solana and all those futures contracts they have available, I'm going to start trading those on the platform. So I'm working on setting that up, and that's going to be an interesting thing. So there's a little bit of volume there, and it's going to be, and I'm anticipating that kind of volume is going to be increasing. So it would be a nice little offset for a little bit of high volatility kind of trading. So anyway, I'm working on that. That's going to be the something happening here in the first part of the new year. And other than that, yeah, I'm going to start off with a bias to the downside on these guys. looking to sell strength for rotations down and see if they're going to be holding on to any gains here now. If they close, as I said, above that 69.10 to 12, that edge, we'll back range bound with a slight bias to the downside. If not, we're just leaning short to get into Friday's trading. We're starting off the new year on a down note. And yeah, the Coinbase futures, I mean, there's no market data issues. The market data points are open. They're not fees from the CME to look at data, nothing like that. It's like, it's just freaking US regulated futures. These are NFA regulated futures, by the way, if you didn't know it. So on Coinbase. So, but I'm working on that integration, and it's a very different integration from what I'm CQG or Rhythmic. So it's a little bit of a challenge, but I'm working through it. I'm working through it. But I think that could be the future here, to get rid of the CME market data fees and crap like that. And some of these like Bitcoin, Solana futures, a little bit of volume on them, enough to probably make them tradable. So on the Nasdaq, it's even worse. We are down here at the 24,470s, not quite down at that lower volume edge, but it looks pretty gnarly. So we can see here on the F1 also potential move out of the middle to the downside. So no strength at the wrapping up the year. And as I said, chances are this could be like last minute tax loss selling. Like you have like, yeah, I can't make up my money. The money and not stock's not rallying, not getting any, not covering any losses. So I'm just gonna bail out of it, take my loss this year, and then maybe buy it back in 30 days next year. So that's what I'm thinking this is, if it sells off like this into the close. So starting off Nasdaq, if they close above this area, the 540s, will be back range bound with a slight bias to the downside. If they close below it, we're just going to start with a bias to the downside. So that's how we get started going into the new year. That's going to be Friday, January 2nd. Right? I can't believe it, guys. It's freaking the end of the year. I get to say not too often. I get to say we're going to see you next year. That's what's happening. That is what's happening. It happens once a year. I get to say it. On the bond market, I haven't traded the bond market. I was tempted to take a short trade after this happened here, this little halabaloo. So there wasn't much going on. An early sell-off, then just sideways action. A potential setup here after that London close, but it was just trading at the mean. And when you're trading at the mean like that, it could go either, it could start retracing, it could start heading lower. Chances are the short side of it was probably the better trade. I was holding out maybe for the retest of the 27s instead, but it never happened. So I wasn't going to be super aggressive on this one. If this is right at the mean, and it's more of an inside-out trade there, so I skipped this one. But when this happened, I was tempted to hop on a short trade on the way down. I figured I had some movement to the downside ahead of it. And they did. They went from the 13s down to the 7s, so 4 or 5 ticks on the downside. However, trading the bonds like that late on the Friday, late in the afternoon on a last trading day of the year before the holiday, if you get caught, you're gonna just have to take your loss. So that's not a good spot to be in. So I just opted out. I just skipped it. So if I can get a good trade set up around about the London close, I'll take it. Late in the session like that, you really have to be into it. I mean, right now getting long against this area, the 1507s, yeah, could be a trade setting up there, but you can also just be sitting here as sideways. So no, you skip it. If you trade a bond, try to trade a bond, you get caught once like that, you realize how shitty it is. You'll sit there and you're in the losing trade. There's just no relief at all. They'll just squeeze it to the downside, and yes, it's gonna be. I had to take your loss at the end. Anyway, so guys, we're wrapping up the year. I appreciate you all. Happy New Year, and I will see you guys back next year. That will be on Friday. Ready, guys? And yeah, have a prosperous New Year, Happy New Year, and get ready for some Coinbase trading next year. That would be cool. All right. Alrighty, guys. Happy New Year, and I'll see you back next year. Later.